this guy called himself the War Machine. He plan on taking you to war tomorrow. What's your feelings about that?
That's what they all say when they get in the ring. As soon as they get touched, it's a whole different story. They change their whole game plan. So, like I said before, it don't matter where this fight go. Whether he want box and run or whether he want to come forward, it don't matter. I'm ready. And I promise you, I'm putting on a beautiful show and bring home this victory and a beautiful knockout. I can't wait.
I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock. I love you guys. Angela Stone, I fertilize a brick. That's bad. So mean, I make medicine sick. Fast. Last night, I cut the light off my bedroom. Hit the switch was in the bed before the room was dark. All you chumps are gonna bow when I whip him. All of you, I know you got him. I know you got him, Dick. But the man can come up. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. Man, it is fight day. I'm so excited, man. We getting undisputed today. And before I get into the topic of this episode, I want to point out a couple things. When I watched the Charlo, Brian Castano press conference, I was reminded about the time when Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant had their press conference. Caleb Plant was coming in with one belt. Canelo Alvarez, which was the IBF, and Canelo Alvarez was coming in with all the other belts. And this was for Undisputed at 168. And I couldn't help but think, like, man, the whole theme, the whole background, like the mariachi band, and you know how the fans were and how they was making the first Mexican. I saw the same exact thing, except for Brian Castano is the one with the one belt, the WBO, and Charlo has the IBF, the WBA, the WBC, the ring. So he has everything. But the respect or the lack thereof in this recent press conference was earth-shattering. And I'm not talking about the USA thing. I'm just talking about how the powers that be never corral, and they seem like they always acquiesce or put these other cultures culturally above certain fighters. I want to remind people that Canelo Alvarez is a self-proclaimed Mexican fighter. He's not even an American fighter. And I only bring that up because I'm starting to see that where, you know, when one culture shows their pride and their heritage, and they show where they come from, and you know they embody it, it's all embraced and celebrated, and it's really no clear-cut line in how much or where we stop when we celebrate, but we undermine our own. I want to put that on your mind, you know, because that is the main event. Charlo, Castano 2. I gave my take on that. Go check that video out. You know we feed the clones. Here lately, I've been pinning the tail on a lot of these donkeys. With no further ado, let's talk about the co-main event. Boots, the phenom from Philly, who's, you know, actually making a lot of headlines, making a lot of noise, making a lot of rumblings. He's on people's pound for pound list already. Against Custio, Clayton, the Canadian, aka War Machine, an Olympian. He's coming to say, hold on, not so fast, buddy. You know, I enjoy Boots, and I love listening to Bozy talk. I hear a lot about Greg and YSM. He covers a lot of what's going on in the Boots camp and in that gym that they work out of Philly, which is good work. He always does good work, so shout out to him for that. I think Boots' mindset, he always says, in and out like a robbery. You know, and the question is, with a solid, sturdy, offensive, somebody who's not going to let their hands go, but is also defensively responsible, can Boots keep up that same level and demonstrate that same high level performance in the later rounds? I would have to think that Custio Clayton is actually thinking that he's going to actually have to try to box with Boots. Some may say, man, get in there and make it ugly, but Boots is very good on the inside. I say that he's an assassin for real. I mean, it seems like he can attack from any position. In the phone booth, he's very slippery. He has a lightning quick jab. He loves to throw that uppercut from all different kind of angles, and that's the shot that I'm kind of worried about. I'm really kind of worried about a right uppercut from Boots landing on Custio. I mean, because one of the things that I see with Custio is he keeps his hands up but far apart, and it's like it's a big wide open window where Boots will be able to get his offense off. My question is, can Custio weather the early storm of Boots? How effective can he be? And can he stay disciplined enough and not overcommit to getting in a war with Boots? Boots is going to hit you wherever he can. And even though Bozy talks about being defensive oriented, I think in the minds of people, a lot of people are looking at Boots as just an offensive juggernaut. Will Custio actually be able to show Boots' defensive abilities? And if he can, how much success can he have? I think that Custio's best chance is to move his feet, is to make Boots, you know, chase him, pursue him. And for him to, you know, this is boxing. He needs to hit and not get hit. But for him to avoid taking on big shots early, I think the longer it is, because Boots say he gets stronger as the fight goes on, I think Custio needs to have the mindset of prove it. Prove that you get stronger. Prove that when I start chipping away at your armor in the 9th, 10th, 11th, you still gonna be there. You're gonna be able to take that accumulation of punches round after round. I think Custio does have some sneaky power. He can be very accurate. He does good body work. He needs to implement all of that in order to win this fight. But Boots says that he's coming to steal the show. And I'm not sure if he can steal the show, but I definitely believe he can make a statement. What kind of statement is he going to make? One of the perils of these fighters who often get fighters out early or get the knockout, you know, the likes of a Tank Davis or a Gary Anton Russell, or, you know, when T.O. was doing his thing before his loss, you know, their abilities to get fighters out of there. And when you don't get a fighter out of there, sometimes the standards and the rules and the judgment come along with it. Meaning that if it goes to decision, they're going to judge your performance, because the fighters that actually get the job done and don't leave it in the judges' scorecards, once it goes to the judges, it's treated as if they didn't perform to the high standards. But we must consider that as the level of competition gets greater, the more even or the more polarity we should have in these fights. So those are all things that I'm looking at. Can Boots make a statement? Will Boots make a statement? We shall see. You know, I'm looking at something going on. If it is a stoppage, you know, I can't say it's going to be a stoppage. You know, I think that Custio knows that this is, you know, his opportunity to shine. He's not going to take it for granted. But Boots could impose his will. I'm just looking for a great fight on this one. I have no real prediction. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think that if Custio keeps that, you know, that high guard with his hands wide open, it could be an early night. But if Custio uses his feet, you know, changes level, commits to the body, and, you know, becomes defensive responsible, it could go to the judges' scorecards. I know Boots is going to get a lot of points. So we'll see. You know, I hope everybody enjoyed this fight tonight. I hope everybody's safe. You know, and I appreciate your time for listening to this channel. You know, I appreciate the growth. I appreciate all those who like, who comment, who subscribe here at BodyWork, where we feed the clones and we feed the trolls. We don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
But my Tommy don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fuck solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all.
You jump outside the ring in the fighter, like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so